Oh, shoot. I don't want to record.
No, they're recording.
Oh, okay. They didn't say that last time.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I was recording. I don't want to record. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'll be
Nice
back. I got to
guy.
run downstairs. I just got upstairs. I just got a
Okay.
call from somebody I haven't seen since 8th grade.
Okay.
So I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
Hey, lady. Hey, lady. Tell her to get back here. There she is. Hi.
Hi there.
Hey, lady. All righty. What a day, dude.
Oh, really?
I'm so done.
Um,
It's one of those days.
oh,
But that's every day with me, so you know.
right.
All righty. Yeah, just got a call from a buddy that I grew up with, best friend, went to school with. Haven't seen him since 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, the path you have specified for the default family template file is invalid. Huh? I don't even know what that means.
Good evening, Revit class. How's everyone?
good.
Dealing with issues.
What's going on, Scott?
The path, I just opened up Revit. The path you have specified for the default family template file is invalid. I changed nothing.
Yeah, you know, that remind me of that there are some settings in Revit that I should go through today, so maybe that will help you.
Maybe it's because I downloaded that 1 point something gigabyte file thing and I updated.
Let's look at the settings together in a bit, and I'll ask you if the path is the same as the one we all have.
Okay.
Okay, let's see who's here. Joel, hi. I see
Hi.
Scott, Ivana, hello.
Hi.
Andrea. Andrea, were you able to launch Revit? Okay.
My second monitor is working.
Oh, yes, that's good. Hi, Savita. And then, hi,
Hey, this is
Erica.
Oh,
Let's see, Joe. A long day for me because I'm not in the Pacific side, so all my meetings take. It's 7:30 here, but I will sleep late. All right, Heidi is calling in, and
Cuatro.
all right. I just finished a presentation. Now that I'm here in El Salvador, rumor running some of the industry, my former industry network that I was here, and they asked me to teach a class of Revit in Spanish, and just at a very high level. And I can't say how difficult it was because I never teach Revit in Spanish, only in English. I know Spanish, but I don't know the technical translation of like work sharing, for example. How do I say that? Or how would I say, what was the other one? The categories. And anyway, I was having the thing in my mind. So I'm glad to be back in English.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. I guess most people is here. Let me share my screen. And then let's see here. Let's see where we are. Hi, Michelle. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay, I'm going to make sure you add your name in the today's column. A quick announcement. So I'm flying back on the 14th, and then this Thursday, February 10th, next Thursday, a week from today, I may have to cancel the class. There is a chance that I have to support my dad in after operation, and so I'll let you know by early next week if it will be canceled. But if it does, I'll let you know. That's going to take most of my time on Thursday afternoon. Okay. The syllabus for today, we are on class number 3. That is this one. We're going to start talking about walls, custom walls, composite walls. But before we get into that, into the hands-on conversation, there are a few concepts that I just realized I missed mentioning last time. So we're going to continue revisiting some of the basic Revit 101 concepts. So I'm going to show my slide deck in a little bit. And then I'm going to ask you also I'm going to talk a little bit about views as well, which I didn't talk, how to create views. So, and then we'll jump into the creation of some conceptual design and wall creation using base. Using a massing model. Today, we will continue using last class data sets. I believe that was this file. So you should have it in your accessible easily. If you don't have it, it's on the Google Drive. Again, I'm just gonna copy paste the link to Google Drive link, copy link, I'm gonna paste it in the chat panel. Let's put data sets. And the file we're going to use is inside the data set, there is a folder called Mila. This is Casa Mila. And there is a single Revit file called Mila Start. So that's the only file you need. I'm probably going to start using it around in about 45 minutes, 30 minutes. Just get that file ready. Okay. Any question about this? So it's time for a virtual test. Nothing to sweat about. I'm going to ask 5 different questions, and you have the chance to do this online. I don't know if you ever use this platform called Slido or Slido. And it's very easy. You just, if you want to do it on your browser, open your favorite browser. I recommend Chrome, and type slido.com. In that page, you're going to find like a session number and add the number 96527. If you want to do it with your cell phone, just like open your camera and point it at the QR code, and that's going to launch the test on your cell phone as well, or a tablet if you have. But most people like to do this on the Chrome. So I am going to you are able to join Slido one more time. 6 questions. Obviously, nothing to sweat about it. It's everything we talk, very simple stuff. And again, if you respond fast and accurate, you get points. And then at the end of the test, the test is going to give the person who accumulated more points. So you can, if you respond fast and accurate, then you might be like the winner of today's session. All right, everybody ready? Okay. So the first one is, what BIL stand for? I see 7 people responded, 9 people responded. Again, if you haven't connected, just go to slido.com and add session number 96527. It may ask you to tell your name. I only see 11 people participating. All right, no more answers. Let's show the correct answer. Yeah, building information modeling. Build an integrated model. No. So let's go to the next one. What is the extension of Revit files? Nine people in. Last call. All righty, let's display the correct answer. Last chance. It's RVT, everybody got it right. So just remember RFA, it stands for Revit Family, and that is the extension of loadable components. And RTE stands for Revit Template. And when you start a project, you're actually making a template become a project. And so you can create your own templates if you want. In fact, most companies with implementation process in place have their own templates. And so RTE is a template file. All right, next question. What's this toolbar called? It was towards the end of the class. It's the bar that it's at the lower end. I think it's the lower left side of the screen. Okay, 10 people in. Last chance. Easy, right? Super easy. All right. Right question. It's correct. It's oops, I went too fast. It's view controls. That's correct. Next question. What is the shortcut to orbit in 3D? What is the shortcut to orbit in 3D? And I can recall this question should only enable you to respond, to have one response, but correct me if I'm not right. 11 in, shift plus mouse wheel. That's correct. Shift plus mouse wheel. And it's probably the last one, I think. A collection of elements with the same properties, behaviors, and physical representation. That is the definition of, is it a category, a family, or a type? Six in, 7 in, 8 in. 9 in, 11 in. All righty, it's like 11 people is in here. All right, question is correct, it's family. So remember, a category, all objects in Revit are identified by 3 tiers of information: the category, the family, and the type. The category, are elements that have similar properties, so that's it. A category. A family, it's elements with the same properties, behavior, but they also have the same physical representation. So like a single flush door, have similar property with other doors, but only single flush doors have a unique physical representation. And then some elements in Revit also have subcategories, and that's rare. But an example will be roof. Like roof is one of those things that have subcategories, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit today. So I'm putting here a list of parking topics I need to talk about. But family is the correct answer. All right, last one. You should see in their screen an image about a tooltip. What is the type name of what you see on the screen? The type name. 8 people in, 9 people in. 11 responses. Show the correct answer. Yes. Oh, good. That makes me happy. That means you're getting it. All right, that was it. Easy, right? Can I see the metrics here? Spread over the way. Maybe configure it. I did not configure, so I don't know who wins. But next test, I'll make it a little more competitive. All right, easy cheesy. All right, let's talk about. Let's see. Okay, settings for settings. So last time I showed you that if you have an incomplete library, that you should go to this website and download an executable, and you double click, it automatically places it in a specific location. And so under the, I'm going to open Revit, and I'm going to open this file, the rack basic sample project that we were using last time. You should have access to it. It's on Google Drive, and I also place a link in the chat. So under the options bar, you can go to the to the file location, and this is an important setting because it provides you a file path for files that Revit is going to look for by default. Oops. And so the tab at the top, it's a path for where the template files reside. And I only have Revit in my workstation, and these are all pointing to the C folder. Now, if you're working in your office, probably your BIM manager has directed you to add a path to the company template, which usually resides somewhere in a server. So if you're in an office environment, you probably have a server location as well if you have local templates. But this is how you add more ones. So if you're missing some templates and you know that they're leaving your server, then you can add a value and then browse for a place in your server where you can connect to your template. If you don't know that path, but you know they exist, you probably have to ask your organization or the BIM manager. But these are the ones that ships out of the box. There's some imperial construction, architectural structure, and metric. The other one is this one, which is the default path for usage of files. So, you know, when you open Revit and you say file open, Revit opens out at the full location to where those files are going to, where to look for files. And so I think that's what this path is. And it's also the path where local files in the work sharing environment are saved. We're going to talk about work share at the very end, towards the end. And so when you create a local file, this is the local path where it's saved. Some organizations standardize this path. I remember when I was working at HUK, it was C Revit local, and everybody had a Revit local in their workstation. So when they open the central file, then the local file was saved in this path. And then the other one, which I think Joe was talking earlier, is this one, which is the default path for family templates. This is pointing to a place in your local workstation where this is the family templates. This is not the library. This is where you find the templates to create new content. This is by default, you should all have the same one. Program data, Autodesk, Revit 22, family template. This is to create new families from scratch. So this is not the library. The libraries are here where it says places, this button. This is the path for the default location of the family templates. And that on the Imperial side is C, program data, Autodesk, Revit 2022, Revit Imperial. And if this is pointing to somewhere different, you're probably going to get that message that you have an improper file path. So I copy paste this path in the chat panel in case anybody's missing it. You can just drag in the chat panel, right click, copy, and then paste it if you're missing it. But this is the location where the out-of-the-box library lives. And this is also the location when you download those executable from the cloud and you expand on the unzip, it's going to place it in this path. So if you are loading a family, you go insert, load family, and you receive a message in proper file path, or you don't have the right path, that's probably what's happening. That you don't have this default path. Like you need to point to Revit where to load the default family template. So again, I'm going to repeat it. It's under File, Options, File Location, Places, and it's the Imperial Library. All right. So hopefully that works, Joe. I don't know if you tried it, but hopefully that fixes the issue you were reporting at the start of the class. Okay, and then the other topic was, what was the other topic? Oh yeah, there are some basic 101 concept that I need to refresh. I didn't talk about last class, and it's this slide here. So Revit has any model representation, any virtual model representation in Revit has three types of building elements. You have building elements as model elements, datum elements, and view specific elements. Again, this is Revit 101. And next test, I don't know what's going to happen next Thursday. The next test, I'm going to ask you this. What are the three types of building elements? You have model elements, datum elements, and view specific elements. Model elements are virtual representation of a geometry. They could be, you have hosts, and then you have components. Hosts, the host hosts the component. Redundancy there. And a component, it's a file with the extension RFA that you load from an external folder into the Revit environment. So example of hosts are walls, ceilings, roof, topography, curtain walls. And then the components typically are hosted by these type of families. Windows are hosted by the walls. Doors are hosted by the walls. Mechanical equipment are hosted by the roof. Some type of furniture is hosted by the floors. By fixtures are hosted by the ceilings. Plumbing equipment sometimes are hosted by walls. Wall-mounted cabinets are hosted by walls. And so if you delete the host, the components get removed. So if you have a wall and the wall has a window, if you delete the host, the window disappears. That's the default behavior. And so again, pay attention to this because this is in the test. A host is also called a system family. And system families are elements that you cannot load inside Revit. In system examples, walls, you cannot save a wall as an external component. You cannot save a roof as an external component. System families are families that only live inside a project. And that's why they're called system, because they are only available in the context of a project, but you cannot save it or export it. You cannot make a system family a component. And the reason for that is that system families are typically created by a set of custom boundaries. An example, walls have boundaries. They have big boundaries. Roofs have big boundaries. Ceilings have boundaries. Floors have boundaries. And so elements in Revit that are created using sketch boundaries are called system families. And so example of system families, I mentioned already, and I'm going to show you how to create a floor today. And that'll be your first experience on how to create a system family. Datum are objects, are usually reference planes. And these are work planes that intersect the model. A view by default, it's a reference plane. You're actually sectioning the plan either in the vertical or in the horizontal to get a projection view. The grid lines are work planes, and they're work planes that span multiple levels and that are aligned with the representation of a column grid. A level is also a work plane, and they remain associated with the top of the finished floor. That is where a level is. And then you have custom reference planes that are used to drive and create any type of geometry. So views, grids, levels are called reference plane. And then we have view-specific objects, which are elements that we place on top of a view that describe the design intent of element in words. So annotations are all view-specific. When you place a keynote or a call out or a leader, those are elements that live on top of the view, and they are view specific. That's why they call it. If you place it in the floor plan, they only live in the floor plan. They don't live with the model. So if you're coming from a CAD background, it's equivalent of having things placed on paper space. So remember, model, datum, and view specific objects are the three types of building elements. Here is another way of representing this idea. Model elements, you have host and model components. Data elements, you have grid levels and reference planes. And view specific elements, you have annotation objects like text, tags, symbols, and dimensions. You also have detailed components, which are enhanced two-dimensional representations that are placed on top of a three-dimensional object to enhance the communication of the view. So detail lines, fill regions, a hatch that is placed on top of a view, for example, that is a view-specific element. And this is how elements are organized. And why is that important? Because I want you to understand when you are in Revit, you don't have to do this, and you're looking for a specific type of wall, remember that a wall is a system family. And if you load a family, you're not gonna find a wall folder in the Imperial Library. You're not gonna find roof in the Imperial Library. You're not gonna find ceilings in the Imperial Library. So system families cannot be shared as independent files, and the library of components does not have that. They only live inside a project. So how do we share system families? You can copy paste it. Want to create, you don't have to do this as well. I'm just doing it to say, I'm going to create a new project from scratch. And let's say that in this 3D view, I really like how the treatment of this timber wall file. And rather than building it from scratch in the other project, I just copy to the clipboard. You can just do Control-C, and then you jump into another project, and then you do Control-V. It also brings hatch definitions, and you place it. And as soon as you place it, this type of wall, it's available as something that you brought from another project. So the timber wall is right there, and it comes with all the hatch definitions. And so copy paste is useful when you have spent a lot of effort in another project. But then if you're going to start copy pasting from multiple projects, that is a problem, right? And so a strategy that a lot of companies do is to create their standard of walls into a single project. And then they build this collection of walls that's sitting in the central server. And all you need to do is grab the partitions, interior partitions that you need, and then paste it into your project. That's one strategy of dealing with that. Let me see, I may have placed in the D drive an example of that under yeah, it was in this one, it was in my wall. No, I don't have it. I'll bring it next time. I need to dig into my files. But it's a repository of walls, nicely, neatly organized with the right tags, the right information, and rather than rebuilding it every time from project to project, you just copy to the clipboard and paste it, and that's the way to distribute those type of families. But it's a Revit project, it's not a Revit family. So the bottom line, system families cannot be shared as external files. And then system files only live in the context of a project. And system families cannot be, you can share system families using repositories of elements. So how do I know if something is system or not? It's by accessing something called the type properties. I'm going to talk about that now. This is called type properties. And again, this is the concept of a type property. A type property, it's our parameters common to elements of the same type. In other words, common every wall that is a wall clad have similar dimensional properties, and that is a type property. If you change the dimensional property of that wall, it changes for all the walls of the same type. Or another example, doors. If the type of a door is 8 foot high, all the doors with the dimension 8 foot high, that is a type property. And if you change that property to 9, all the doors are going to change to 9 foot high. When you access the type property of an element in the property window, you're going to see that right at the very top, it says system family. And this is a roof. This is how you find if something is a system family, in case of doubt. Let's see this guy here. His name is Alex. You know, is Alex a system family or not? You edit the type and notice that it doesn't say system family. Therefore, this is a loadable component. It's an RFA. But for the most part, the rule is that, things that have big areas are system families. And that's one way. I'm going to pick this wall, for example. I edited type, the system family. I'm going to select this other guy, which is a fireplace. And that is not a system family. That's a component. That's a visual way to check if something is system or not. And why is important? Because it impacts the way in which you exchange that information with other models. And the thing is that the project browser doesn't display that information. When you go to the families here, this is a collection of loadable components and system families. And it's not clear to you, because here you can see the walls and the ceilings and the floors, but it doesn't tell you whether it's system or not. So I wish there was a way to sort them out so you know what you can share and what you cannot share. All right. So back to my slide. Parameters there are two types of parameters. The window properties display two types of parameters. The parameters that are unique to an object are called instance parameters. When you select something on the screen, anything that is displayed in the property window, it's called a type instance family, instance properties. And it's a property are parameters that are unique to an object, to an element. So if you change the instance parameters, it's just change it for that object. It doesn't change it for the entire collection of types. And then instance and type, it's an important concept because when we create families, we need to decide whether a parameter is unique or a parameter is a type. And so again, if you click edit type, these are the properties of all the types. If you change it here, you change it for all of them. And the properties you see in the property window is an instance parameter. So that's going to be again in the test next time, so it should be a breeze. type versus instance. And why is it important? Because when you create a new, and this is going to be in the future, but I'm just going to show it here. When you create a new project parameter, a project parameter is a custom piece of information you add to something. And let's say I want to add a new project parameter to the doors. I don't know, I want to have whether it's purchase or not. And then you need to decide if that parameter is going to be a type or an instance. And when you create custom pieces of information, you're going to decide whether it sits as an object that is unique, as a parameter that is unique, is going to be sitting on the property window, or is going to sit inside the edit type. So when we create custom parameters, we need to decide whether it's type or an instance. Okay. Go back here. And then instance and type parameters can be single category. That means that they're only applied to a single, to a specific category, or they could be multi-category. For example, everything that's listed under identity data is usually a multi-category thing. Material is multi-category parameter. You find a material across multiple categories. Then we have family parameters, but we're going to deal with this when we create custom content, a family from scratch. If a parameter is created inside a family, it's called a family parameter. So we're far from getting there. All right, that is, this is a summary of what type and instance is. Instance properties and type properties. All right, the other thing I want to go before moving to creating a new project, it's view creation of views, because I think for a beginner, it's important to understand how to create views and navigate through views. In the project browser, and again, you can close and open the browser as needed. You can move this to the both side. Properties and I think I push the property in my others. My project browser, I push it down and I think it went beyond. Let me see if I disconnect this. My project browser went to nowhere to land. I troubleshoot that, but I need it. Let me see if I change the resolution, if that helps. Last thing I'm going to try is to close. Are you guys still with me? Sorry, I need to troubleshoot this. I'm going to close Revit and reopen it again. There's my project browser. Yeah, usually restarting it do the trick. I was just trying to place this below the property window. And it goes. Right. Okay. So what I was saying is that you can navigate through different views in the project browser, but what I want to show you is how you can create new sections, and elevation, because that's important for a beginner. To create new sections, you go to the View tab and hit the Section tool. And a section tool, it's a datum that split the model at a specified work plane. Sections are work planes, and that can act as reference planes where you can host objects in the section, in the work plane defined by a section. So when you hit section, you hit two points in the screen. This is point number 1. This is point number 2. You can do it anywhere. I open level 1, and then a section has a head, it has a tail, and it also has the section extent, which is how far in space you can see the depth of your scene. And so these handles that you see here allows you to move the far clip extent. And then to access a section, you just double click the head, and that will take you to that section I just created. I'm going to close it, and I'm going to create another section. And feel free to do this with me as well on your end. Go to the View tab, hit Section. The first click brings the section head. The second click brings the section tail. And then the orientation of the section can be flipped. If you click this icon with a double arrow, no, sorry, this double arrow here, that's going to flip the direction of the section. This double arrow at the end of the mark, just swap the section representation to a tail, a head, or nothing. And then an elevation, exterior elevation or interior elevation can be created under the View tab, Elevation. Elevations are system families, and then you can choose. This is giving you the option to create a building elevation. And so you just place this section. Notice that the section tries to align to the closest geometry. I'm going to create a section of these, an elevation of this wall, and just place it here. A word about the elevations, and that's also true. This floor plan, level 1, has other elevations here. An elevation marker has 2 components. The arrow, which is this thing, when you select it, is actually the view, and that's what you see here. This dotted line here, this blue line, and this dotted line. That is a representation of the view, and then it also has the marker. So if you move an elevation away, you might think you're moving the view, but it's not. If you click this, if you click the arrow, notice how the view still remains in the back. Any question here? So to properly move an elevation and the view, you need to pick both things. You see there are 2 elements selected here. There are 2 elements selected here. You select the elevation marker and the elevation view. And if I do this, I'm actually relocating the work plane associated with the elevation. So now I'm moving the blue line as well. But know that if you just looking, if you're happy with the location of the work plane, just leave it where it is, just move the marker. But if you're trying to move the elevation work plane, you need to select the two elements, the view and the work plane. Okay, because we're going to deal with that later on, and I want to just tackle it now. All right, that's how we create simple views. I'm going to go in a different class about other type of views. Any question on this? Simple, right? Okay. All right, let's go. It's that time already. No, I still have time. Let's talk about the Mila project. So the Google Drive, I have under the Mila folder. There's a lot of pictures there as well. This is the house we're gonna do. It's an actual project. It was featured in a magazine, multiple magazines. I just did a search of nice modern Nordic houses and in Archie Daily, and I like this. This is simple and it will be super easy to use as a reference for learning Revit. We have walls that we're going to use, roof, floors, small furniture, a kitchen furniture, and then I'm going to use this as a way to get us started learning Revit. And so open the file that's called, close this file, we don't need it anymore. And open the file, it's called Mila Heat Start. And if you want to know more about the project, who did it and where it is, just search the Mila Heated house. And it's like everywhere. It's by Mork Architects. Beautiful house. Wish I had one like that. When you open the file, the Mila Heat Start, open level 1, and all I did is to crop some images from the website, scale them, and I don't need to teach you how to scale an image right now. We're going to do that later. But I just want us to have like a common background on how this house is going to get built. These are images scaled and sized in feet and inches. All the different facades. And the reason I bring this is because we're going to compare the Revit elevation against what is published in a magazine, and you're going to see that it gets very close. So if somebody tells me, oh, Revit doesn't do good graphics, I think that's wrong. We need to understand how to control the graphics in order to achieve what we wanted. And so this is the floor plan of the house. It has 2 rooms, a kitchen, 2 little restrooms, a nice cabin. And I have placed the reference points so that we have the same snap points when we build this. We're gonna do this very quickly and then we're gonna stop. I want to show you how to create an in-place mass. Because what we're going to do is I'm going to create a mass representation of this building, and then we're going to stop there. So I'm going to do this myself, and then we're going to do it together because I want you to see the process. So I'm going to repeat this twice. If you want to follow along right now, that's fine. But I'm going to do it again a second time. I'm going to do the mass representation of the half of the building. Revit has something called conceptual massing that enable me to create mass representation of a conceptual building. They are under the massing and tab. And to create a new mass, you create this in-place mass. It tells you that it needs to switch the visibility on. That's fine, just click close here. And I will call this, it will be the east side. That's how I call it, east mass or east mass. And again, we're going to do this together. The mass environment is asking me for a boundary that it can extrude. And I'm going to use lines to create, to trace the floor of these first half. So using lines, I'm going to snap to the intersections. And we're going to do this again together and close it. After I close it, I switch to a 3D view. I can actually tile this to see the 3D view and the plan together. And then I select the area that I just created, and then I create a form. According to the sizes of the house, the tallest spot is 16 foot high. So what I'm going to do is change the location of the top plane to 16. And then change the elevations. And so what I'm going to do is select these edge and change this to 9'4", which is this, what you see on the right side. And then I'm going to select this corner and change it to 9'4". And that is the half of the house. So then I finish the mass and I'm done. So let's do this together. I'm going to delete this and let's do this together. If you follow along and you're done, great. So I'm going to switch to the floor plan again here. Zoom over. And we're going to go to the massing and site and create an in-place mass. In-place mass. Give it a name. I'm going to call this East Massing. And then using model lines, hit the line tool in the draw tools, the first icon, and create a boundary around the outer edge of the building envelope in the floor plan. So I'm going to start here, here, here. You're automatically going to feel that snaps. And then you're going to close the boundary. And when you close it, Revit automatically creates an area. You may want to switch to a 3D view here by going into the 3D view, the default 3D view. Which switches to 3D view. That is the area created by Revit in the massing environment. Hit the modify tool. Hit the modify arrow to like stop creating boundaries, or you can just hit escape. And then select the areas and extrude it as a form. Extrude the collection of lines as a form to create this this mass. So it's very straightforward. Create a boundary, escape, then switch to the 3D view, select the chain of boundaries, and hit create form. And we're just going to deal with changing height. So select the roof surface and change this to 16.4, I think. Oh, 16. And in conceptual massing, you have the ability to access areas like complete surfaces. You have the ability to select edges, and you have the ability to select vertices. Just hover over, and then you can see you can select vertices. And then you can manipulate each of them individually using these temporary dimensions. Temporary dimensions automatically place an object relative to the closest line intersection. And so I pick the roof surface to change this to 16. Then I'm going to select this edge, the edge, and change the dimension height to 9'4". And when you type dimensions in Revit, you can just, you don't have to type the feet character. You can just type 9 space 4. And then what I'm going to do next is select the vertice, this vertice here, and change the height to 9'4". That's it. And then you hit this green checkbox that says finish mass, and then you're done with half of the conceptual mass.
Cesar,
Yeah,
the highest point, what is the measurement?
16,
16 and 9.
and the lowest point is 9'4". It's also here in the elevation, in the floor plan, there's an elevation.
How do you do the side-by-side view? Is there a shortcut for that?
Great question. I didn't say that. The shortcut for tiling, it's WT, wall tile, window tile. And then I think you undo it, window tile. If you type it the other way, it's TW. Stack it as tiles, as tabs. So tab windows and window tiles, WT, and then TW. Good shortcut to remember. WT, window tile, and TW, tab windows. All right, so I think we reached this past 30 minutes. Maybe as a homework, do the other half. So go to the level 1 and just do exactly the same thing, but in the opposite direction. This is like a mirror. You can just look at the 3D. These were the edges that we modify. We do exactly the same in the opposite end, but we're just gonna change this to 9'4" and repeat the massing. And if not, we'll do it together again next class, next Tuesday. So what we're gonna do with this mass is that it gives me the outermost boundary of the house, and then we're gonna use these faces to generate face-based walls, face-based roofs, and face-based floors. And so that we're gonna talk about next time. And we're also gonna talk about the properties of the walls and creating custom walls. Like how can we make a wall look like wood, how we add these wood slats, how we change the material. And then we're gonna add the windows, the doors, the curtain wall system, etc. Or, you know, if over the weekend you're really like into this and want to try to figure out how to build this yourself, give it a try. give it a try and try to build it yourself. See what for those who are intermediate Revit users, try to build it yourself based on the images you see on the screen and the pictures, and tell me on Tuesday where were your bump points. But we're gonna do it together again on Tuesday. So just save this file, save as. I'm saving all my projects on my D drive. So I'm gonna save this Revit 32, and then close it. And all right, so feel free to stick over if you want to have one-on-ones. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Let's stop sharing here.
Thank you, Cesar.
Yes.
Have a good weekend.
Yes. Anybody want me to have problems, Erica?
Yes.
Okay, let's go with you first.
So, okay, I just started doing the other side because I don't think I actually remember how to do the one you just told us. I outlined the floor plan, and now I have, the outline here on the side of the matching we just did. And now I'm a bit lost. Where do I extrude?
Oh, you're stuck with that. Let me show it again. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do the other half. So you go to massing and site.
You're not sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let's stop sharing. Share screen. And then you go in place mass, and this is going to be west mass. And then create a chain of boundaries. You go from here, here, here. And then you go into here where it says create form.
To me, it doesn't look like this. I think my ribbon looks.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh, does it look like this?
No, I'm missing all the commands.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Okay, this is what's happening. What's happening is that you are trapped in sketch mode. So
In
to
what?
finish it, trapped in sketch mode. What that means is that
Sketch mode.
the previous command, you have to click this green checkbox that says finish mass to have access to the all your commands again. Was that what was happening? No?
To extrude it, you go into massing inside or modify.
So let's do this. Why don't you share your screen and I can help you?
You have to finish your screen share.
Again, stop. Yes, correct.
My cursor also wasn't snapping to the corners.
Okay. Let me be done with Erica first.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so you are okay. So
I
what happens is you finish the command without making description. So what you did was the area. So go ahead and click edit in place in the contextual tab. You see in the edit in place, create, edit in place. Next. To right, yes. Click it. Okay. And now select the boundary. And now you say create form.
Okay.
Okay.
So
and then
I finished outline. I don't hit finish.
No.
I just continue.
You just continue, correct.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right.
And then we just edit whoever,
Correct.
however we want. Okay. We can stop sharing.
Okay. So Ivana, you wanna share to see what you saying?
Yes. Let me see. Hmm. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Ah. My Zoom is blocking my.
So you know what happened? I think the image got displaced. You see how the green lines do not align with the boundaries before. So you may want to undo.
Just undo everything.
Undo, yes.
But I didn't move anything.
It
That's how
might
I opened it. I
really
mean, I can, yeah.
no, because otherwise you wouldn't be undoing it.
I'll just close it, right?
Yeah.
No. And just open Milahite start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Oh,
this
you probably
normal?
it's you open the file, yes. Probably you have 2 sessions of Revit open. And notice now the image, it's aligned. And so what happened
Oh, I see. Huh.
you know what happened? Select the image and pin it so that it doesn't move. Oh, it is pinned.
Yeah. And
Select it. There's a pin in the modify section of tools in the upper. Yeah, select the image. And then in the ribbon modify panel, there's a pin on the right side above the red cross.
uh-huh.
Okay, that pins the image and that's not going to move.
Okay.
And now it's going to snap to the grid intersections.
Right. Yeah, because my cursor was snapping to the line that was off of the wall.
Right.
Okay. All right, good. That should help. Okay, I'm gonna stop
He
sharing
says,
now.
Okay. Have a good one, Erica. Anybody else have a question?
I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to share, Sabito?
Yeah. Yes. I can't share.
Yeah. Zoom has this green button. It's called share screen.
Yeah, I'm clicking it, but not shared.
I believe you have to shoot the monitor, the right monitor after you hit share screen.
Why I can't share? Hmm.
You can.
Should
Do you
I
see the?
show you the screenshot?
Okay. But you will have to save it as the screenshot as a image and then upload it into the.
So I was on the Revit. In the Revit, I was on the plan, but how to go in the 3D?
Remember the 3D house in the hill?
Yeah. But
This
when
is
I
the upper.
when I go there, that ready house, I just see that. Not the one.
Okay. Yeah, I wish you were able to share.
Okay.
If you look at the Zoom menu,
Because of this now.
so it's you see mute, stop video, security, polls, chat, share screen. No? Now you're muted.
And share.
I think it's a two-stop. It's a two-point operation. You hit share and then you select the screen, and then I should be able to see it. No.
Sorry. I will try. Yeah. Maybe can you show one more time so I can connect with that? Yeah.
Okay. Just happy to do so. So I'm going to share here.
Yeah.
Okay, here I'm on the floor plan. I'm going to do the second half.
Mhm.
Uh-oh. Soon quit unexpected. Okay. Share. Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Good.
All right, so to do the massing again,
Mhm.
massing and site, in place math,
Mhm.
west massing,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to create a boundary of model lines, snap to the intersections,
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, close it,
Close it. Good.
and then create a form.
Oh, create a form. Oh, I
Create
didn't
form.
do that. Okay.
That's it. And then you hit
Oh.
the 3D house in the hill.
Oh, okay.
That didn't work, right? That's bad. That didn't work. So I undid because I didn't want to. I undid that. What it happens is that it just selects the last object I created.
Mm.
So I undid, and then in the 3D view, I select the chain of lines, and now I create a form.
Create a form. Oh, okay.
I make
Okay,
this
yeah.
16, and then select this edge, give it a 9'4",
Mm.
and then select the vertice and get 9'4".
Okay, got it. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I didn't do that create form. Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
So if after creating the boundary, it's best to switch to 3D view, select the area, and then create form. Because you might experience what I just did, that
Okay, yeah. Only one.
Revit select the last segment rather than the entire form.
Mm. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have a question? I don't know if Casey, Michelle, Jacek, no?
I have a question, not exactly what we've covered so far, but if you're creating multiple masses, like if you're doing a building design and you had different alternatives, would you just have to hide and unhide masses, or are there kind of, would you create like 3D views with different masses on or something?
We're gonna look, I think, towards the class number 15 or 16, we're going to talk about design options. And design options is an ability to host geometry like in different options. And then you display the options you want in a view.
Okay.
So under the Manage tab, you see where it says Design Options. That's another class I need to show, but you can create it. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Night.
So, Cesar, I wanted to talk to you about something not directly related to the class.
Okay.
So we are, we have a prospective project that is mostly flat work. You know, it's a series of plazas and stair ramps and a pedestrian underpass. You know, so it's about 4 or 5. It's I would say maybe 60% of it is streetscape and 40% of it is these ramp stairs and then a pedestrian underpass that goes under some streets and gets up. And so we're doing that with a large engineering firm, and they were trying to tell me how great it would be to do this in Revit. I mean, I told them that, you know, we're doing AutoCAD. We typically have been doing this as AutoCAD. And, you know, the scope would be split between civil and structural. And so structural is doing Revit and civil is doing Civil Works 3D. And they were telling me that they want to keep to run the project on, I guess, Autodesk 360. Is there something like that?
Yeah, it's a cloud platform.
Right, right. And they were telling me that that will create problems for them, that it will be corrupting their files when they're exporting files from Civil 3D into AutoCAD. You know, that there will be glitches, that there will be problems with that. I wanted to hear, you know, what's your take on that? I mean, I feel very, you know, I mean, Revit is great for things that are repetitive, right? But these stairs, they're all going to be unique. The ramps are all going to be unique. I mean, I understand, of course, once you have a model, the production of all the different views is so much easier, but I'm just very reluctant to get into it. And I mean, it doesn't look to me like a really good project for the, I don't know, what do you think?
Well, I think Civil should stay in Civil 3D. A structure could use Revit and export elements as CAD objects into Civil 3D for reference. And then to bring the Civil 3D into the Revit structure, that is tricky because you're right. There are some files. Civil 3D, it's a file format that is full of elements that cannot translate very well in Revit.
Well, I'm not worried so much about translating into Revit. I'm worried about translating into AutoCAD because I want to do AutoCAD. You know, we do architecture and landscape architecture in AutoCAD. The Civil is using, you know, they're telling me that there will be problems exporting into AutoCAD.
Oh, that's not true. I think exporting from Revit to AutoCAD is very straightforward.
And from Civil?
And from Civil into Revit?
No, from Civil into AutoCAD.
Civil 3D to AutoCAD? No, it's very simple. There's
I thought it was very, I mean, we've been doing it for years and nobody ever told me that. Now, they were saying that maybe there is something about Autodesk 360 that will make it problematic.
I don't think so. You know, I mean, I have Civil 3D here. I can show you. There's a command that is called export to AutoCAD. Simple.
I would assume, right?
Yeah,
right.
and they don't take care of the objects that AutoCAD cannot interpret.
Right.
And so they should be able to export easily Civil 3D solid geometry into AutoCAD. Here is the output, and then it's export to CAD.
And is it going to present some, big, problem for the efficiency of the project? And
it's a typical workflow. Civil engineers have worked for years with architects using CAD. So I think excuse my word, but I think they're bullshitting.
that's my feeling, and that's my experience. But I wanted to check with with an expert.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you, in case that we decide to bring in Revit, would you be able to create template for us or something, do a little separate project for our company? And I mean, do you do that?
I may, but this is timely. I just wrote an article, Revit Civil 3D GIS. AKN that you may want to forward to your best person. It's not popping up. There's knowledge network. And
If you're in a hurry, if you need to leave, we can continue this some other day.
No, that's fine. But this is a step-by-step and how to make Civil 3D read in Revit. So exports in Revit connect with Civil, and Civil exports read with Revit.
Right, but what about AutoCAD? Because again, I don't care. I mean, they're from the same company, the civil and the structural. They're from the same company.
Yeah. So the step involves exporting the element to CAD.
Mm-hmm. And should be straightforward, right?
Here it is. Export Civil 3D into AutoCAD format.
Yeah.
Here it is. And if this article helps, I can send it to you. But if it's too complicated, I mean, I could do it. I mean, it should be, I don't know, like if it's more than 4 or 5 hours, it would be a problem. I could have the conversation and assess how long it might take me and decide then.
Okay.
So,
right. I was wondering, how long does that typically take?
Yeah. I would think, without looking at the files and the extent of the project, it would take me no more than 4 hours.
Okay, because I know it would take us forever because we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. So you sent, this is in the chat, right? This.
Yeah.
All right.
So next week I'm probably going to be off the hook for the most part. I'm just going to connect on Tuesday. So if you need
no, this wouldn't be immediately. If this project, if we're just working on the proposal, if we get it, it's going to be in September. So there's time. There's time for that. But this is just for my communication with them, because I thought they were bullshitting me. But you never know. I wanted to check.
Civil 3D and AutoCAD users have worked all the time, so I don't think they are being honest with you.
Yeah. Or they have no experience with it,
Yeah.
which is even scarier, frankly.
Civil 3D is built on top of AutoCAD, so it's not like they're incompatible. They're just it's an enhancement done on top of the AutoCAD to provide civil engineers with their tools. And so the roots are exactly the same. They're both AutoCAD based.
Mhm.
But there are things in Civil 3D that needs to be dumbed down in order for a vanilla architect to read. And that doesn't take anything. It's just export to CAD and maybe do a little cleanup.
Right, right. Okay. And they wouldn't similarly, when we give them AutoCAD files, they should have no problems importing them in Revit or in Civil 3D, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
As long as the shared coordinates are aligned. And I mean, if you forward that article, show how you connect Civil 3D, AutoCAD, and Revit using the same points.
Right, yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Enjoy your
Amanda.
time in San Salvador.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.